Right, good morning, and thank you very much for joining me again today, 5 January 2020. How are you, Mr. Khaliphani Phugeni?
I'm okay. Happy New Year. Compliments to you and your viewers at home and all over the world, really.
Thank you very much. And what are the priorities for MDCT in 2020?
The priorities are simple, really, is to, given the outcome of the election, and we've been saying this, it's not going through, given the outcome of the election and our limited influence in the political field, we will carry on trying to leverage as much as we can from POLAD to use it with the governing party to see how we can have part of our manifesto really accommodated, especially the one that deals with socio-economic issues.
Okay, your party, and particularly Dr. Kupe, in the last part of 2019, she came under heavy attack.
Okay.
For one, going to the farm of Idi Mnangagwa, and secondly, for allegedly demanding cars.
Okay.
Is there any truth to all this?
Okay, I think there is an English saying that goes like this: fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'm a fool and I deserve it. I do not know of any demand by Dr. Kupe to anyone, by the way. I do not know of that. It only exists in the twisted minds of this dishonest private media, which I told you has given itself to be a propaganda platform for the alliance. And basically, it's not even the whole alliance, by the way, because that whole project is imploding. It's really for an audience of one, which is Chamisa, who's really desperate for some GNU or for some private talk with His Excellency. But it's not going to happen because of the terms which he's attached to those talks that he wants. He's attaching those terms that bizarre, in fact ridiculous terms that says he won the presidential election and therefore he's going to meet His Excellency as a ZANU president and as an alliance president. I mean, that's nonsense. So you are not going to have His Excellency respond to that, because he can't do that without effectively vandalizing, and I'm using that word deliberately, without vandalizing the constitutional order of the country. You can't do it. Okay. So basically all these articles that you see, they are sponsored articles, you know, from all these dishonest propagandists who pretend to be journalists, but in reality they are not journalists. They are just cowards politicians who can't come out in the open and face us. Let's have a political debate. But they are cowards. They won't have that, so they will pretend they are journalists so that they can, you know, cover their propaganda, their propaganda as if it's just a news or reports, or, you know. But they are doing a disservice to your profession, really. Now let me answer this question of Dr. Kupe going to the farm. What is wrong with going to the farm?
Okay. As far as everyone is concerned.
Who's everyone? Am I part of everyone?
No, you're not.
Okay.
Because you're part of the negotiators. You represent a constituency.
Okay.
I do not think your people expect you to go to Idi Mnangagwa's farm and start walking around with him and feed fish.
Okay.
Instead of talking about the issues.
Okay, you are very, very wrong.
Yeah.
My constituency expects me to do everything possible to get my manifesto implemented. They really expect me to do that. I understand that Zimbabwe is now reduced to a rumor mill. The whole country really reduced to a rumor mill. We are now speaking past each other. We are no longer listening to each other. We are no longer listening to understand, but we're always listening to counter back, challenge, and even win, you know. So that is a challenge. Now, Dr. Kupe releases a Christmas message where she says the suffering of the people is untenable. That cannot be challenged. She says the suffering is untenable. That's what she says.
Yes.
And she says an intervention, therefore, is urgently needed. She says that. She says because of the suffering, there is an urgent intervention needed. And she says, what guides this intervention? Then she goes to MTCT resolutions, 2014 resolution. It says, do everything possible to bring the governing party to a dialogue. And no one disputes that. The resolution is there.
Yes.
It says when you bring them to a dialogue, you then make sure that you create a conducive environment so that the next election is not disputed.
Okay.
Right? So she tells you that. And then she says, armed with this resolution, I'm going into a dialogue with the ruling party. And fortunately enough, the ruling party did give us that dialogue. Okay. So whether it happens in a farm or it happens wherever, how does that impact the quality of discussions that we're having? None.
Okay, it's a home advantage.
What home advantage? Because you guys think there is this, because remember the language that was used, it says we're summoned.
Yeah.
That inflammatory language is deliberate. We're not summoned. We actually requested to go to His Excellence farm. We requested. And we told you why we went there. We went there to observe what is he doing with the land that he got from the land reform program. And we saw that that land is extremely utilized. There's no inch that is not utilized. And then we said in our press statement as POLAD, we said we urge all the recipients of land reform. We're not talking to rural folks. We're talking to land reform recipients. Emulate this. Once you emulate this, we won't have food insecurity problems. We won't have this desperate hunger that is obtaining in the country.
Okay, so in short, you're saying going to the farm was not a problem.
It couldn't be a problem. Let me tell you this. For some reason, if His Excellency was to call now, right now, in this interview, I'll drop this whole interview and I'll run to him. Wherever he calls me, I'll go.
But that is a problem to many MDC supporters.
Why?
They do not recognize the win of Idi Mnangagwa. They say he did not win. There was rigging. The rules were not fair. And people were killed after the election.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
You are confusing MTCT supporters and the delusion which is Chamisa and his crowd. Don't confuse the two. Don't inflect the two.
Okay.
Right. Now I'm going to show you why I'm using this type of, I'm deploying this type of language deliberately because I'm trying to shock the system in case, you know, people could listen to what I'm saying.
Yes.
Chamisa can't happily take matters before a court of law. Right? Yeah. And in this case, I'm talking about the electoral dispute. He can't happily take matters before a court of law.
Yes.
And then when a judgment comes out, he wants to impeach the court, the integrity of the court. He can't do that. They have just released something with Jonathan called Excelgate. You know, when somebody sent to me, I said to him, let me just go through this. He said to me, don't be excited. This thing is underwhelming. You know, you won't get to page 20. You know, you won't go beyond page 20. I said to him, look, I have to go beyond page 20 because I'm going to be doing interviews and this question might come. This is what Prof says. And I had great respect for him, maybe, I think, until now. This is what he says. He tells us that ZEC didn't need to use V11 forms, right? And the courts didn't need to use that. Yeah. Fine. He says we need to use, I think it's P23 or so. So the 210 district forms. Yes. And then the 10 provincial forms, right? So you say 210 plus 10, that brings you to 220. Okay. Those are the forms that the court should have considered to deal with this challenge. A big indictment on Chamisa. You know what that tells me now? It tells me that almost 2 years down the line, Chamisa can't produce 220 forms to prove that here is the 2.6 million votes that I got. He can't do that. Now, and this whole Excelgate, what you call Excelgate, hula baloo, and all, I mean, it's an indictment on Chamisa that he can't produce 220 forms of evidence to say, here is my evidence on 220 forms. I'm tallying this thing to 2.6 million. You can't do that. Okay. And now you want to hold the whole country at hostage. You want to hold the whole country hostage over an illusion.
Okay. So I want us to keep on the issue.
Yes.
You are saying going to the farm was not a problem?
At all.
The rigging that Chamisa is alleging, he can't prove.
He can't prove. I mean, he's got 2 years now. He can't prove. Jonathan has said you didn't need to use V11. You needed to use, I've just told you, 220, right? Where are those 220 forms that prove that? Because he must have had election agents in all of these different spheres.
Okay, so we get that point that you're making, that he can't prove it. And it's known that Chamisa doesn't have the forms. Now, let's go to the issue.
So why is he not held to account on that nonsense?
Right, that's my next question. Okay. You are saying Chamisa should accept Idi Mnangagwa, just the way as Dr. Kupe and the MDCT have accepted and negotiate with him.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. You see, the problem with them, that's why I'm saying that, especially the private media in Zimbabwe, but I think it goes as far as the entire media in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
You guys are failing big time. Massively so. You are really failing the country.
Okay, but
no, I'm answering you.
Yeah.
You are failing the country massively so. And unfortunately, the country now is helping you, it's abetting you in really failing them. Did you know that Chamisa is in court in Mat North? Did you know that?
For what purpose?
On electoral basis.
Okay.
Zek made a mistake on one MP and one senator who was supposed to be MTCT, and they put the names of MTC Alliance people.
Okay.
Right? We went to court, right?
Yeah.
And it was clear, based on the numbers of people that voted, that it's the MTCT Alliance, it's the MTCT MPs who should have been in Parliament, not the Alliance ones. Chamisa is fighting on a procedure and on a technicality to say, no, this whole issue has been overtaken by events. Now, what is the point that I'm bringing to you? I am saying to you, he is not sitting here and saying, look, a technicality has happened here which has advantaged me to the prejudice of MTCT. Because I am this person big on fairness and justice and reform of the electoral system, I will yield back and allow MTCT to take their place because they've got the votes. He's not doing that. He's digging in. So when the process advantages him, he wants to exonerate it. When the process is at a disadvantage to him, he wants to impeach it. You know what I call that? That's hypocrisy of the highest order.
All right, I want us to leave that part, because I think this is an endless debate.
Why is it endless?
Chamisa will always take his side of he was rigged, and Mnangagwa will take his side of the court decided.
No, but it's not endless. I'll tell you why it's not endless. Because the constitution of the country tells you how to address such a matter. You go to the Concord, and it prescribes how the whole matter must be decided. And once the matter is decided, the constitution of the country says it's final. So unless you guys are saying you are no longer constitutionalists, if you are saying that, tell us. Because I don't understand why you are entertaining this child.
Okay.
That's basically what you are doing. You are entertaining this boy
to you why.
On bringing our country to a crisis, which is really not a crisis.
Okay, let me explain to you why. Chamisa went to court and he lost.
Yes.
He says the court did not consider his evidence. They did not give him the favor. So he got out of court, he lost in court, and then he's saying, I'm taking a political solution. The same as Idi Mnangagwa. POLAD is a political solution.
No, it's not the same. I will explain to you. You can't go to court and say to me, I told you in our very first interview, and say to me, I have stolen your cow. Right? You've stolen my cow. All right. I've stolen your cow. Do you have pictures of the cow that I've stolen? No, I don't have. Do you have Ibhukule Tipa? No, I don't have. What do you have as proof that I've stolen your cow? No, I want to come to your kraal and look at the kekli there, and then I will show you my cow. Do you see how ridiculous that is?
Yeah,
it's insane.
That's why I'm saying this is an endless discussion.
It's not endless. Let me tell you this.
Yes.
You know why it's endless? It's because journalists in Zimbabwe, okay, the guys that are pretending to be journalists, but they are dishonest people. They're just goons for Chamisa. So that's you guys.
Okay.
Right. And the maniacs that are following him,
yeah,
and all these other countries that are enemies of Zimbabwe that he says he goes around telling them not to invest in Zimbabwe. You have actually refused to make your politics reasonable. You have simply said politics and reason are mutually exclusive terms. They are not. Remember what I've just done for you here. And by the way, it's a distinction between Jonas and Albert and whatever. When I make a statement, I substantiate it by reason. And I wish my reason could be successfully challenged. And you people just ignore my reason as if I haven't offered.
No, I get your reason, and technically you're correct, because in court, the court found in favor of Mnangagwa. So you're correct technically, but politically, there's a problem. So MDCT.
Can I hold you there? Because you are now defaulting to the issue that says politics and reason are mutually exclusive. They are not. I am saying to you, you can't say, I won the elections. I can't provide you with proof that I won. Instead, I want to go to your server. I don't want to speak on behalf of ZEC, by the way, because I have my issues with ZEC.
Yeah.
Right? Because it does not follow that when I show you how ridiculous Chamisa's claims are, then I'm a ZEC cheerleader. No, I have my issues with ZEC. If you look at our press statement, we said something about the conduct of ZEC. But when ZEC says my server has been broken to, way before the results, by the way, you can't then say, I want to call, because there's a theory around the breaking into the ZEC server. Mugabe was in control of ZEC and all the ITs and whatsoever. And Johnson and all those guys, they actually broke into that system. That's the theory that's going there. But I really want to respect your platform and not go into theories.
I want us to go into this theory. I want to go into this theory. And I understand. This is why I'm saying your reasoning, it's aligned to what the court is saying. If there's intelligence that Jonathan Moyo and his people in G40 broke into this server, then it's a national security issue, isn't it?
Yes.
But then that requires a political solution, which is POLAD at the moment. Idi Mnangagwa called people to POLAD. He said he won, but he's still calling people to POLAD so that there can be a political negotiation.
Okay. Let me help you.
Yeah.
You see, I can see the obsession with Idi. By the way,
yes,
the country is in a frenzy, and this obsession with Idi, I feel sorry for him, because most of the things he's credited for, he really didn't do them. Let me just give you a brief history of POLAD. POLAD started with the triple Ps. You remember, progressive political parties. You remember, there was a press statement that was done in Harare. It's those political parties that realized that, look, there's an impasse here.
Okay.
Can we negotiate with the ruling party? And then they approached the ruling party, and the ruling party was, in fact, approached the government, and the government was willing to entertain this. That's how POLAD came about, where it's all political parties. Now, you guys sit here and say, it did this, it did that. You read the POLAD statements, and then you say, it is saying this. The statement that was issued by POLAD, it saw it first when he was already seated on the podium.
Okay.
He had no input into the statement. Now I see Jonathan writing all the crazy things. I see reports saying it now wants to use POLAD as a foreign policy. What? Mm-hmm. Where did the president say that? Did you now as Kamakwe Media, did you listen to His Excellency's speech on the 22nd?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes, and we published it.
Thank you.
We go through these statements very much.
Where did he ever say, I am going to use POLAD for international relations?
I don't think he would say such a thing. What he would do is, if Chamisa was to get into POLAD, it would be a big win for him. At the moment, POLAD...
No.
Yes.
Let's correct this. It's the other way around. It's Chamisa who's in the wilderness. It's not POLAD. You are making a big mistake. I am saying to you now, POLAD is recognized by the United Nations. POLAD is recognized by the AU. POLAD is recognized by SADC. And then you want now for me to believe that. Guys, I am not under a spell, Chamisa. He went to Ghana for that witch doctor. It might have gotten into, it did not get into me. You cannot want to convince me seated here through logic, by the way. That reasoning thing that I said, politics and reasoning must not be mutually exclusive. You can't say to me, a body that is recognized by the United Nations, African Union, SADC, you say to me that it's insignificant or it's inferior to someone who has traveled throughout the world and his only claim is that I go to countries in Europe, by the way, and he says, Ndichisunga 1, Ndichisunga doesn't.
Yes.
And those useless people clap.
Do you know how much people love that kind of thing?
Now, let me tell you, they are useless. They are foolish because they don't realize one thing.
But they're 2 million.
Let me tell you, Ndichisunga 1, Ndichisunga doesn't.
Yeah.
The vice president was sick. The general was sick. We all saw his pictures.
Yeah.
Ndichisunga 1, Ndichisunga doesn't did not stop ED from flying him to China. And you saw when he came back.
Okay.
You saw when he came back. Right. Ndichisunga 1, Ndichisunga does not stop ED from leaving. It does not stop the ministers. I saw the former minister of finance and justice.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw him there at the farm. I mean, he looked fresher than when he was in government.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm simply saying to you, the big wings, they are not affected by this. No, wait. This one doesn't. But if any of those fools who were clapping hands in that nonsense speech, if one of them today wakes up with diabetes 2, high blood pressure or whatsoever, they will go to hospital, there will be no medicine, there will be nothing, there will be whatsoever. You can't say it's ED. When somebody tells you that I went abroad to stop medicine coming to the country to save you and your children. I went abroad. I stopped business from coming so that it helps you get jobs. And then when there are jobs, you're able to look after your family. I went abroad and I stopped opportunities for all of you. And then you clap hands.
Right. So let's not keep going on this part.
Why not? Because I'm making sense.
You are making sense.
Thank you.
Okay.
At least.
Right.
At least 2020 is coming. Okay.
Let me explain to you.
Yeah.
You make sense to me. The problem is, this is a political thing. 90% of town dwellers don't want to hear what you're saying right now.
I don't care.
In Bulawayo, in Harare, if you go now, people don't want Mnangagwa. They voted for Chamisa.
Listen, you are making a big mistake. I do not speak for Mnangagwa. Remember, George Aramba does a good job, and I think Nick, brilliant guy. So yes. I'm not here to speak for Mnangagwa. I am here to speak on behalf of MDCT and the decisions we are taking. Because when you want us to use expedience, we're not going to use expedience. But we're going to be guided by MDCT documents. Let me ask you a question. This church nonsense that Chamisa is doing, when did we ever take that resolution as MDC? We never took a resolution of church.
Do you remember when Morgan was there?
We will wait. Did we ever say we'll leverage the suffering of our people?
Yes, that was Tonga Ituone.
No. Look, you can manipulate people. You must understand that I was in the executive.
Yes.
I was in the shadow cabinet. I had a relationship with the president. Like, we will meet places like this, spend 2 hours talking a lot of issues. If you ask honest people in the MTC, they'll tell you I had his ear. He never, that I can tell you now. If Luke did not say this on his behalf, let me tell you, President Tsvangirai never in his life would leverage the suffering of our people for his political advantage. He would never do that. The suffering of our people always was paramount in his mind.
Okay, so my observation is that MDCT, Dr. Kupi, you are in agreement with most of what Idi Mnangagwa is doing.
Why?
And saying.
Why do you come to that conclusion?
Because right now, everyone is saying, when I say everyone, I mean all the young people in the MDC. They are saying Chamisa was rigged. You are saying Chamisa was not rigged. You are saying going to the farm is okay. Most people don't like it when you go to the farm to do the POLAD meeting. It was an unpopular thing to happen.
Yeah, but we're not populists. You see, we're not populists. I thought this was going to be natural, that if we're in POLAD We are not fighting with ED.
But why not go to Dr. Cooper's
wait.
house?
No, we might go there. It depends. I have told you why we went to the farm. That is what I meant when I said the problem with Zimbabwe is that we are not listening to understand.
Yeah.
We are listening to oppose. I have told you why we went to the farm. Right now you're asking me about why we went to the farm.
I'm saying, why didn't you go to Dr. Cooper's farm?
No, Dr. Cooper, there's no farm, by the way.
Okay.
You see, this is where you guys make a big mistake.
Yeah.
You think we're benefiting. We're not benefiting personally. We are telling you why we're doing this. We're doing this for our people and to implement our manifest. Dr. Cooper has no farm, by the way. Eh?
Okay.
She's got no farm. I had a plot, which I had legally applied during the Mugabe era.
Yes.
Right? When this administration came, that administration, the district administrator and everything, they illegally and unprocedurally took away my plot. And you know who they gave it to? Someone linked to a top MDCA alliance a leader.
Okay.
Right? I've got documents. I can show you this. This thing.
Let's
Wait. No. I want this point to land.
Yes.
Right. So when I talk about ED or the ZANU government and whatever, I am not talking from an advantage point. I know what it is to be disadvantaged.
Okay.
Where politics is used against you and you lose.
Okay.
But you know what is funny? This issue, I'm telling you, I have never tabled it in the MTCT to leverage our talks.
Yeah.
I have never told my president about it. Otherwise, you're going to break about it. This is breaking news.
Yeah.
It will never be part of POLAD. It will never be part of a political program because our politics is not about us. It's about the people. I now know that there are many people who've got their plots taken away on political grounds. You're following me?
Yes.
So I'm now able to argue not for myself but for others. But the point is, Dr. Cooper has no farm. I have no farm. Chief Ndlovu has no farm. Alfred has no farm. No one close to Dr. Cooper has a farm that I know. We don't have farms. We've never benefited anything from the government. And by the way, they've got no nude pics of me.
Okay.
They've got no nude pics of Dr. Cooper. We are not under duress here.
But they've got those of Obedgood.
No, they don't. By the way, you are listening, Hopewell. He's taking something strong. You see, his bootlicking of Chamisa has gone to unknown levels of insanity.
Now let's go to the 4x4s. I think this topic is covered off visiting the farm.
Yeah.
Let's go to the topic of 4x4.
Yeah.
Did any of the members of POLAD request benefits like 4x4s, allowances in US dollars, travel trips, hotel accommodation?
Okay. I'm happy that you said you listened to His Excellency's speech there at the farm. You listened to all of it, right?
Yes.
You heard what he said about POLAD. He said, POLAD, I like this program that you've presented here. To the extent that there are financial challenges with POLAD, I will do everything in my power to fund POLAD. That's what His Excellency said. If you watch the speech, you should have seen even his body language. The spirits were high. We were all happy there. Now, we were summoned, remember, according to you guys, the media were summoned. We get there, we start feeding fish. You are also affected by that.
Yes.
The following day now, you are saying we're demanding. Oh, this inflammatory language, it's yours.
Okay, so you didn't demand?
POLAD, no, we didn't demand anything. We in POLAD were very, very happy
but
people.
Idi Mnangagwa offered.
No, listen. POLAD's program was presented.
Yeah.
Because this was a POLAD meeting, remember. It was presented. Everything. And the president said, I like this program. To the extent that there are any financial or funding challenges here, I'll do everything in my power to fund POLAD.
So
it's there in his speech.
Are we going
there
to see cars written POLAD driving past?
I don't know. I don't.
Dr. Cooper in it and.
No. I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. I really don't know. I don't know why that should happen. Let me tell you what is the big matter here. At some certain stage, or at a certain stage, Zimbabweans, and especially the media, will have to decide if you are really going to be abused in this manner that you are abused. I don't know why you guys, you major on the peripheral issues.
Okay.
Why don't you go to the real issues, the program of POLAD, which we presented that day? It's there. Why don't you guys delve into that program?
It's because most people in Zimbabwe don't like the program in POLAD. That's why.
What is the program in POLAD?
Okay, at the moment.
No. There's a question. What is POLAD's program?
Is to legitimize Idi Mnangagwa.
Oh, you see, I never saw in the 8 points that we listed there that POLAD is going to be doing.
But you are avoiding the important issues of legitimacy. But that issue has to be dealt with.
No, but which platform deals with legitimacy?
Inside POLAD, that is the very right platform.
No.
Legitimacy.
No, you guys are doing a disservice to yourself. By the way, POLAD has nothing to do with legitimacy because there is no illegitimacy. There is no legitimate challenge. By the way, there is no illegitimacy as far as it is concerned. You'll have to be a fool to bring down a whole system for one individual. You can't. Remember what the Bible says. You see, Chamisa's antics for me, they don't surprise me. I'm actually surprised by you people. Okay. You went to school. You went to university. You went to NAS, a very good university. So I'm actually surprised that you guys will reduce yourself to this level. This is what the Bible says. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. So I'm not surprised with what Chamisa is doing. He's a child. So I'm really, really not surprised. I'm surprised that you guys, you're supposed to be the adults. You're supposed to be mature. Legitimate issues of an election are finalized in the Concord. That's where they're finalized.
Yes.
So POLAD,
I think we're going back to what we said we're finished. This issue of...
But you know why we're going back? Because you're saying POLAD is avoiding legitimate issues. There are no legitimate issues. That's why I'm calling him His Excellence, by the way. If he was not president, I wouldn't call him His Excellence. Okay. It's His Excellence because he's the president.
There's a difference between determining an electoral outcome in court and solving a political issue of legitimacy. So what we have at the moment, the very core purpose of POLAD is to diffuse the situation we have politically. And this is why I'm saying we are avoiding asking Idi Mnangagwa the difficult questions.
Let me tell you what I've discovered. I've discovered that you didn't read the press statement of POLAD that I gave you. You also did not listen to the video which I favored you with of POLAD, because it will have told you what POLAD is about. What is the program of POLAD? You don't know that program. You are now imposing a program on us. Okay. No, listen, we are not going to allow you guys to impose a program on us as POLAD. We have a program, we're going on with it. Newsflash for the country and for everyone else. POLAD will not address any legitimate issue because we do not have a legitimate problem. The president, His Excellence, the day the courts announced, we're fine.
Okay, so why was Thabo Mbeki in Zimbabwe during POLAD?
He didn't come during POLAD, by the way.
Just before? He came a week before?
He came a week before POLAD. He came to appraise himself with the situation in Zimbabwe. I saw again the private media coming up, in this case, Siwaneng Nyoni Dube.
Yes.
Coming up with all that nonsense thing that he brought today, and which I saw Nkululeko Sibanda trying to really walk back. Okay. Yeah, because now here we will be open up to President Mbeki negotiating and whatever. There will be no such a thing, by the way. I can tell you that.
Okay, so why was he in Zimbabwe?
Let me tell you. Oh, okay, you asked me why he was in Zimbabwe. Yeah. I think he did give us his statement. He said, when there are disputes in the country, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And throughout the region, that's what he said. He said you go to courts, and when the courts come with an outcome, you honor that outcome. That's what Mbeki said. So anyone else who tells you something different, that person is a liar. They are lying to you.
So Mbeki was in Zimbabwe to say that. There's nothing new from everything that already knew.
No, I'm saying to you, Mbeki came, he listened to everyone. He listened to everyone, by the way. He listened to everyone. And when he met Dr. Kupe, by the way, and other players, it just happened that other players are these players, Dr. Kupe and these other players, they're in POLAD. But he was just meeting them as individual political players. So he met us as MTCT. So we did favor President Mbeki with our views and what we think is happening in the country and what we think is the best way forward. But he didn't come because of POLAD. Of course, when we were there, then he simply said, but what is happening in POLAD? Could you please tell me who are some of the members? And we told him, we've got one of the brightest and the sharpest minds. We've got some of the brightest and the sharpest minds in the country in POLAD. Let no one fool you. And I can tell you why Chamisa won't come to POLAD, by the way. You want to know why Chamisa won't come to POLAD?
Why?
Because he's coming to POLAD where there is Dr. Kupe.
Okay.
And he wants to raise a legitimacy issue. And he can't successfully raise it where there is Dr. Kupe. Because he's illegitimate. You see? So that's why he won't come to POLAD. And in that POLAD, he will have to meet Dr. Kupe. He will have to meet Advocate Kutu. He will have to meet Dr. Kupe's counsel, who is Professor Matuku.
Okay, so what's happening with that court case?
No. So I'm just trying to show. But please, this is important. You can't just want to dismiss it. Like
I'm not dismissing it. I'm going because remember, there's a court case linked to exactly what you're saying.
So I'm saying to you, he can't come to POLAD for those reasons.
But the court case is not determined.
No. I want this to sink. Right? Because I can see that you guys are very slow. You know, as a country, you are slow. As a media, you are extremely slow.
Okay.
I'm saying Chamisa can't come to POLAD because there's Dr. Kupe there.
Okay.
He will have to confront the legitimacy issue.
But you see that you are not answering my question of the court
No,
case.
I'm come to the court case. But you know what? I'm actually exposing your hypocrisy. You know why?
Why?
Because when it's legitimacy and this illusion, this whole met up legitimacy about it, it's a big issue. The country must now be involved in. When we give you real legitimacy issue, you want to just ignore it. Where is the enthusiasm? Where is the excitement? Where is the energy?
In court?
Okay, my friend. The matter was before the Bulawayo High Court.
Yes.
I think it's starting by also. And we gave Chamisa, including Professor Nube, you know, PT, and all those lawyers there.
Yes.
We gave them what we call a bloody nose.
Okay.
Right? The matter went before, they took that matter to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
We gave them another bloody nose there in the Supreme Court. Then one of our comrades from Kokwe took the same matter now to the High Court in Harare.
Yeah.
You know the bloody nose we gave him.
Okay.
Right? And then the matter, now Chamisa took the matter to the Supreme Court. Right?
Yeah.
He brings in Honorable Monzora as a respondent, he brings in so many people, and then Dr. Kupe. Then later he discovers, this is a poor legal strategy, now wants to remove them. It's not possible. Right? That's why you saw Tabani drinking so much water in that spot. Now, basically, I'm saying to you,
yeah.
do this, do this favor, do yourself this favor. Go and speak to any jurisprudence lecturer, you know, from anywhere in the world. Don't even restrict yourself to Zimbabwe. Go and look for a lecturer in law, and expose them to the Supreme Court proceedings and ask them about the outcome. Now, that outcome, look, unless you are living in some foreign land, the outcome is known. Chamisa knows it. Tamani Mpofu knows it. They know the outcome of that court. Any normal person knows the outcome of that court.
Okay, but Idi Mnangagwa is using that court case as leverage over MDCT.
How?
Why is the result not coming out? The judgment.
But why is it Iti? Why are you not saying it's Chief Justice Malap?
No, because everyone knows the courts in Zimbabwe are tarnished. They are controlled by the government.
Oh, so remember what I said to you? I said to you, Chamisa is in court in Mat North. I told you that.
Yeah.
And he is using court processes to keep out people that he know that they're supposed to be in parliament. They've got people than, you know, more than his people that he put there. He knows that. He's using the court processes that are supposedly controlled by ED, right?
Yeah.
So in other words, which means he wants to work with ED when it is of service to him. And in this case, ED is of service to him and a disservice to us. But later wants to accuse us of working with ED. I mean, really, you guys pick a lane. Pick a lane.
Are you saying?
Pick a lane.
Are you saying you expected this court case to go into January without a judgment?
Well, I don't know. I must be honest with you. I think I've already told you that the whole governance of the country, the whole system, really, it leaves a lot to be desired. You know, so the problem that you make is when I expose flaws in Chamisa's argument and this whole evil project of his, you know, and I'm referring to Alliance, in their church. I think it's really evil. I told you, you can't get more evil than that, where you're basically killing people in hope that they are going to accuse the government of the day and then vote for you. You can't get more evil than that. When I expose that evilness of Chamisa, don't conclude that then therefore I'm speaking in glowing terms of the government. I'm not. I am not. I don't want you to blur those lines, right? And it does not mean that simple because I expose Chamisa and the government is not doing so well, then therefore I must not get into a dialogue with them. You see, don't make this thing about binaries. It's not about binaries. We can be sophisticated guys. We can chew gum and walk at the same time.
Okay.
So we can disagree and still dialogue.
The judgment issue, we're done with it. Let's go to the issue of Professor Maduk.
Yes.
Is Professor Maduk in MDCT or does he have his own political party?
No,
He seems to spend so much time with Dr. Kupi.
No. Look, I mean, there is nothing further from the truth than that. Professor Madugu only interacts with Dr. Kupe when there are legal matters because he is her legal counsel.
How does that work?
What do you mean? How does that work?
You are a member of a different party.
Yes.
You are a legal counsel.
Yeah.
You're in POLAD together. Why not just merge? What is the difference that makes these two separate?
No, I think you saw Prof. Matugu with his party offer their manifesto. You saw our manifesto.
Yes.
So really, he's got a program that he's pushing. We have a program that we're pushing. We should not be enemies because we've got programs that differ in approach, in strategy, and whatever. We shouldn't be enemies. By the way, I speak a lot with MTCA people because we really were one family.
Yes.
There is only one person here who's unbringing a vision that I told you about. Right? Did you know that is extorting MTCA MPs? Did you know that?
Chamisa?
Yes.
Okay, like how?
There's so much money that it demands from them. So when it goes all around this country, with all those talking about Ndijisunga 1, Ndijisunga dozen, those people were transported by MTC MPs, and then he must be given $100 for what a month. And there's just so much extortion that he's doing.
Okay.
And they are paying. I feel it because those are my brothers and sisters. I feel they are paid. And really, we can't wait for the judgment because I'm sure it's going to liberate a lot of people. Because Dr. Kupe is not going to take anyone's money. She's never done it. She's not going to do it because those people are at work for their families. They're at work. They are supposed to be in parliament not to push Chamisa's agenda, but they are supposed to be in parliament to push the agenda of the citizens that send them to parliament. Now, some young man who did night school won't work hard for his money. He must work hard for his money. Why should he just lazy around, and then wake up and say, Iwe, I want $100, $200? That's extortion. It's extortion.
Okay.
It's unfair.
I can see that MDCT
Yeah.
and Nelson Chamisa, your distance is growing further and further. You are not seeking to get closer and closer.
Yeah, no, look, let me tell you something, because you guys don't understand one thing. At least you have access to me.
Yes.
I can take you to Chief.
Yeah.
Chief is not, is less than 2 kilometers from where we are here.
Okay.
I can really call him and I'll take you to Chief and I'll show you Chief's phone.
Yeah.
I'll show you Chief's phone so that you know the real Chamisa. When you come to Bulawayo, I'll give you access to President Kupe's phone. I want you to see Chamisa at work, and then you tell me if you want that person for the president. Dr. Kupe's phone has over 50 groups, if I'm not mistaken, where they just open those groups and put her there and start insulting her.
Okay.
Threaten her.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you, by the way, I'm going to show you so you see that this is what Chamisa does. And most of the times they wait, it comes down until something major happens. Then we went to the farm, then those groups come again. Now, I'm saying to you, why is Chamisa so obsessed about what we do, about our political program? By the way, he said we're non-entities, that's why he doesn't want to discuss with us. So if we're non-entities, why is he worried? Why are you guys worried about us going to the farm? Because then people won't vote for us, so you must be happy. Because you can't tell me that when he sent his people to to say to Dr. Kupe, you're a dissident, go back to Matebele, and no Ndebele will ever rule Zimbabwe, attempted to burn her in her heart, came to Bulawayo, threw stones for 3 hours. I was there in Bulawayo. I was there. 3 hours, stones raining there. He wasn't doing that because he cared for her. He wanted her to be elected. He wanted her message to be on point. So that, no. So the frustration about us going to the farm and about the programs we are doing, it's because you realize that they are politically sound and they are helping our people. But because it's a class war, you don't want the poor benefiting from this dispensation. Now, I told you on our first interview, until and unless Chamisa identifies himself with the suffering masses of Zimbabwe, we're going to interject ourselves.
Okay. I think we've gone for almost an hour. Yeah. So let me summarize.
5 minutes.
Yes. Let me summarize the discussion.
Please cut this video in bits and pieces. Otherwise,
okay.
Yeah.
So the first discussion we had was regarding the cars.
Yes.
You say that no one in POLAD demanded cars.
No.
But it's possible that Idim Nangagwa could offer, because he said he understands the challenges facing POLAD.
No. Don't make this about cars. You see, because you guys are making a narrative about personal benefits for POLAD members. You don't even know about the program of POLAD. You see, so it's really a futile exercise to discuss about this when you don't even know about the program of POLAD. Let me give you an example.
Yes.
If the program of POLAD requires one to go to Chimanimani, how is that person going to get to Chimanimani? But you don't know about the program of POLAD. So you realize how...
I know that is not an outreach program.
No. I'm saying to you, you do not know about the program of POLAD. I gave you a press statement. It's a one-pager you didn't read, which would have given you at least a glimpse of what POLAD does. But now you want to phrase this discussion as if it's about personal benefits for POLAD
No,
members.
it's not me. It was a headline in the national press.
I can shock you. I can show you in my phone here the press statements in its infancy stages.
Yeah.
We had to use my phone for drafting it. Okay. Right. So what that tells you is that POLAD is going to need equipment. Right. But you guys, how you are curving it is you're crafting this message. It's like people are going to get personal benefits. Newsflash, POLAD operated for first 2 months without a donor or a funder or anything. People were using their personal monies.
Okay.
What does that tell you? It tells you are committed to this thing.
Right. Who's the donor now?
It's the United Nations.
So all of POLAD is sponsored by United Nations.
Well, I'm not a spokesperson for POLAD.
Yeah.
We are going to, on the 9th, we are going to sit and have a spokesperson. Then you'll be able to ask them intimate details. Right now, I'm just pushing back on this narrative you want to care of that we are in POLAD for personal gain.
Benefits.
No, we are not
not
in POLAD for personal gain. We are using our resources in most cases to further this important work of POLAD. It's important work, by the way.
Okay.
The fact that you guys won't read, won't educate yourself about it, does not diminish. The fact that you guys want to exaggerate the importance of Chamisa, it does not mean that then therefore he's important. No, you're exaggerating his importance, you're diminishing our important work that we're doing. It's fine, it's your hypocrisy, it's your dishonesty. You'll have to live with that in your consciousness.
All right, so you're not in POLAD for cars. Now,
we're not in POLAD for personal gain. Yes. We're in POLAD for the stated reasons of POLAD, and they're in the public domain. You guys just need to educate yourselves about that.
I'm going to make a video about POLAD this week.
All right.
Now let's go to the next thing. Going to the farm.
Yeah.
It's not a problem because you're not fighting with Idim Nangagwa. You don't have any legitimacy.
We're in POLAD. He's part of POLAD. If tomorrow, by the way, Dr. Kobe is a homestead.
Yeah.
So if tomorrow we want to see the good things that are obtaining in Dr. Kupe's homestead, and we want to challenge others to emulate who are capable like her, we'll go to Dr. Kupe's homestead. Right?
Okay.
If same with Chief Ndlovu, he's also got a nice homestead in Kai there. If there's anything we can learn there, we will go there.
Okay.
Right.
Same
I
with
agree
me.
with that. If you want to come and learn something about the Pumula Township, you will come. They will come and they will learn and they will challenge others.
Okay. Thabo Mbeki.
Yes.
He came to Zimbabwe, but his visit was not to do with POLAD.
No, it had nothing to do with POLAD.
He met many political actors.
Yes.
But the purpose was not to negotiate or to mediate?
No,
because there's already enough people in Zimbabwe who can do it.
Because if it was POLAD, for starters, you would not have seen Chamisa. Because Chamisa is not part of POLAD.
He didn't ask Chamisa to go to POLAD.
I don't know. I was not part of the meeting. He didn't need to ask him. He would have. I think he would have advised him. I think the correct word is advise him, because there is no any other logical advice you can give Chamisa, because the position he's putting himself he's putting himself in a corner. I've told you why he's not going to POLAD. It's not for the reasons that he wants you to believe. I've given you a very compelling reason.
Okay. Dr. Kupe, but Thabo Mbeki came to Zimbabwe, asked Chamisa if he can go to POLAD, and Chamisa rejected that.
No. Remember, I don't speak for President.
No, I'm really speaking for you, because the statement was issued by
who?
By MDC.
By MTC, yes, Alliance.
The Alliance. They issued a statement that they were not going to be going to POLAD.
In response to President Mbeki's visit?
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't know. I can only copy. But let me tell you why. First of all, I don't trust the Alliance. They're just a bunch of liars. They're as crooked as a barrel of snakes. I can prove in many instances. So I'm not going to sit here and dignify their press statements. Really, they mean nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. They are not even worth the paper they are written on. If they are written on papers, they don't mind to contradict themselves in less than 24 hours.
Right. So, let's go to the issue of Maduku.
Yes.
Maduku is not going to...
The Prof.
Yes, Prof. Okay. Maduku is not going to be joining, or he's not part of MDCT. He's just the legal representative of Dr. Kupe.
Yeah, but why is that even a matter?
It's important because...
Whoever suggested it?
Because there's this issue of projects. That Idi Mnangagwa created projects so that POLAD can have as many people as possible.
No, but it's your illusion. You see? It's your illusion, and really, well, I don't know, maybe... Oh, no, I'm sorry, let me take back that word, because you're probably speaking because your friends have come to you and said, ask about this. I'm not... I think you guys see red as far as once Idi's name is mentioned. After the visit there, I was put in some group called the Matabeleland Agenda.
Yes.
And I was taken to task for going to His Excellency's farm and having a handshake with him. So I said to him, wait a minute. When did Matabeleland sit and come up with an agenda that says we're boycotting His Excellency? When?
Okay.
Because as far as I remember, in the just ended elections, Matabeleland North voted Idi. Matabeleland South voted Idi.
Matabeleland North?
Yes.
No way.
No, Matabeleland North is ZANU. It's ZANU in charge there.
Matabeleland North has never, in its history...
My friend, listen, let's not use sentiments and emotions and opinions. It's a fact. Matabeleland North, it's ZANU. Matabeleland South, it's ZANU. So, when these clowns that have just opened themselves a WhatsApp group say to me, the Matabeleland agenda is to boycott Idi. I don't know who they are talking for. They are not talking for the people of Matabeleland, because when did this Congress happen? When we said we are now boycotting His Excellency. How do you boycott a person with so much influence in the country? You can't boycott him.
I think what we should do is on the next interviews that way. Remember, I promised people that we'll talk about Matabeleland.
Yes.
Let me bring you the facts and figures, and let's go through these figures of Matabeleland. I want us to stop the Matabeleland discussion because it's big. Guys,
listen, help me here.
Yes.
When did the Matabeleland people say that they are boycotting His Excellency?
For example, 80% of the people in Matabeleland, in Bulawayo, voted for Chamisa.
Okay. I'm just going to help you here.
Yes.
Remember when we were doing the 2013 constitution, we asked that Matabeleland must just be one province, and the capital of that province must be Bulawayo.
Yes.
We got defeated. And the argument was that Bulawayo is not Matabeleland, is now a metropolitan province, because it's got people from all over the world, country. Yeah. Right. That was the argument. So that's why I'm saying you really can't, in one hand, say Bulawayo is not Matebele and is metropolitan, and then now because you want to push Chamisa propaganda, then say it's Matebele land.
Okay.
So let's remove Bulawayo into the equation.
Right. So we're removing Bulawayo, but we're going to have this discussion.
But still, His Excellency was in Bulawayo recently for that prayer thing.
Yes.
Was that place empty?
Well, that's why I'm saying we need to have a discussion about this.
No, I'm simply saying, guys.
They can go to these meetings, but they don't vote for you.
No. Okay, fine. It's fine. As much as the people of Masvingo didn't vote Chamisa, so are you telling me that the people of Masvingo are boycotting Chamisa? Because remember, Chamisa is from Masvingo. He's from Masvingo. He didn't win in Masvingo. I think he's got only one seat out of about 23, 28.
Masvingo, the city or the province?
The province, Pale. I'm simply saying to you.
Here we're talking about Masvingo in Bulawayo's towns. So that's why I'm saying let's leave this discussion for the next time. You know the point that I'm trying to make. I want people to understand how you relate to Idi Mnangagwa. In short, Dr.
Okay.
Kupe,
all right. No. Thank
Dr.
you.
Kupe and the MDCT.
Yes.
They've got no problem with the legitimacy of Idi Mnangagwa. They are not questioning that Idi Mnangagwa is the president.
No, there is zero questioning, and I'll tell you why there is zero questioning. It's because the Concord said so. Now I want to expose your hypocrisy as the media and even Chamisa.
Yes.
The military staged what I now refer as intervention. Then I referred as a coup.
Yes.
Right. Chamisa went to that inauguration. Dr. Kupe did not go.
Why did you?
No, please follow me. Chamisa went.
Yes.
There are pictures. You saw him almost kissing His Excellency. If the Excellency didn't pull out, he was going to kiss him.
Okay.
I'm just trying to show you the excitement.
Yeah, they were close. Yes.
He was so excited, Chamisa.
Yes.
Right? There was a court challenge on Idi's presidency.
Okay.
The court said he is a bona fide president of the republic.
Okay. Do you know who's that court challenge?
Wait. Once there was that court challenge, Dr. Kupe's position was now untenable. So she's now related with His Excellency as the president of the country, in line with our constitutional order, because that's what the court has said. Chamisa did not at any stage take back that position. He has never said that thing was a coup. He has never.
Okay.
Right. No, please.
I don't
me.
want to speak for Chamisa on this one.
No, please follow me. He has never said that. You guys have never had a problem. We go for elections. He says I've got anti-rigging interventions that are going to make sure that there's no rigging. He goes there, he says I've been rigged. He goes to court. He loses in court. The court says no, actually you were not rigged. Okay. You have no evidence. No, please, this is important.
I'm hearing you.
Now, on what basis then do you want Dr. Kupe to say Idi is illegitimate?
Well, remember what you're giving me is the reasons why Chamisa is doing something. So we're not here talking about why Dr. Kupe is doing something. So everything that you've said is the things that Chamisa did or did not do.
No, I told you the basis why we are recognizing Idi, and then we are raising it. And I'm saying to you, because I know why you're raising it. You're raising it on behalf of the alliance. That's why you're raising it. And I'm answering that. And I'm saying to you, the alliance has this twisted notion that their men won 2.6. They can't favor us with the basis of that claim. And now we're telling you why we recognize it. We're saying because Zek said he won, because the Concord said he won.
Okay.
And I'm saying, on what basis must we join your ridiculous claim? On what basis?
The people who support Chamisa don't believe that Idi won. They don't believe that the court made a correct ruling.
All right, let me tell you. You can't really subject a country on the whims of people who support Chamisa. Because the people who support Chamisa, they went to the streets on the 31st of July. They destructed property and a lot of things. And then 6 of them died. And then a few months down the line, Chamisa said their actions were stupid. He said that dead people, their actions were stupid.
Okay.
The people who support Chamisa went to the streets. The people whom you say I must listen to and go with their thinking. they went to the streets. Their leader, whom they went to the streets for, called them stupid, posthumous.
Okay, so let's do this.
Has it sunk in?
This discussion we're having.
Has it sunk in?
I'm hearing what you're saying, but
No,
I
has
do
it
not want
sunk
to...
in that dead people who support Chamisa were stupid,
No,
according to Chamisa?
I don't want to take his statement in that manner. You know why? I want us to be fair to Chamisa.
Oh, so he's got the benefit of the doubt.
We need to give him
okay,
the benefit of
make
the
it
doubt.
fair. Make it fair. Can you decode that statement for me, please? Decode it for me.
Let's may have this as a separate discussion, because the issues we've dealt with are too many. So it might become a bit more complicated.
Oh, but the two statements can't remain. So you do this for me. Do you still insist that I must listen to Chamisa's followers? Whom Chamisa calls
in
stupid?
the light of the coming court judgment, these same people are going to be your people if the court finds no favor. So you still have to listen to them.
No.
If the court rules right now that Dr. Kupe is the legitimate MDC leader, right?
Can you bring logic to this conversation? It does not follow that if we are rejecting their unreasonable positions now, when the court rules in our favor and they become our people, we must accept their unreasonable unreasonable positions because now they are our people. No, we will still help each other using common sense and logic. So I'm saying to you, and you are about to really experience a big change in the country. And thanks to, largely also to your platform, because the country is getting educated.
Yeah.
You meet people, I also meet people
Correct.
who tell me how much educated they are
Yes.
now. I am not going to listen to Chamisa's people, and I'll tell you why I won't listen to Chamisa's people. It's because of Chamisa. He calls them stupid.
Okay, let's go to the last point that I want to make today. And this point is very important. In fact, I'm going to make this the headline.
Okay.
You said the issue of the server. That issue is a sticking issue. One of the main reasons why Chamisa is not recognizing the court ruling on the electoral outcome. There has been rumors that G40 and people like Jonathan Moy had something to do with the hacking.
Okay. Let me tell you what I said. What I said is, I didn't say it's a sticky matter.
To Chamisa it is.
Now, look, I think we're now clear that Chamisa is a deluded individual, and I'll tell you why I'm saying he's a deluded individual. He was interviewed, I sent you the interview. He was interviewed about, as opposition party, what are you doing? He said to the boy, you are confused, you must go to ZANU if you're looking for opposition parties who are the government. You remember that?
Yes, I remember.
Yes. So really, with Chamisa guys, just excuse me, I'm normal. I'm normal. I'm saying, you missed my son, he flew back to Europe where he's attending school. I've got grown-up kids. They will lose respect of me if I were to just follow the flip-flopping of Chamisa. Is he opposition? Is he government? Did he win 2.6? Does he have the proof? You know, yeah. So, but here's my point to you. I am saying to you, unless and until Jonathan, Prof. Jonathan and Chamisa produce the 220 forms that they are supposed to show us the 2.6 million votes, I'm not going to take them serious. Why are they pushing us to the server, which Zek had already said the server has been hacked? Why are they pushing us there? What are they going to get from a poisoned well?
Okay.
We've got original forms here, by the way. I don't know if you follow the electoral process, what happens. Everyone signs there. So your people keep the forms. So we have reduced from the 10,000 polling station forms that we no longer need from those, or however many they are. We now need only 220.
I get that point. Chamisa does not have those forms. But the point I wanted to make with this question was that you accept Zek's explanation that the server was hacked.
Okay, that matter doesn't even arise from where I'm seated. I'll tell you why it doesn't even arise.
Yeah.
Because with the 220 forms, you don't even need the server. Guys, how difficult is this?
But if you send a subpoena for certain evidence,
my friend,
and the court does not consider that subpoena,
it can't be second evidence when you don't have the primary evidence. Let me help you like this. And I don't know why Zimbabweans are doing this to ourselves. Honestly, we're supposed to be one of the most educated people in the world. if I go to school and I am writing my notes in my exercise book,
Okay.
right? And then the teacher marks there,
Yeah.
and then the teacher puts a mark there and signs there, and somehow transports this to a server,
Okay.
right? And now I need to prove that the teacher has altered with the marks. What do I produce? The results from the server or the results from the exercise book?
Okay. No,
No,
I'm
answer.
following your logic.
But what do I produce?
It depends on whether I want to aggregate the results or I want to check for one child. So if I want to check for all the children, I will go to the server.
Forget all the children. I am saying me here. My teacher is marking my book, right? The signature of the teacher is in this book.
Yeah.
And this now has taken this to the server. So I am saying now, the teacher has altered the results. It appears to me that any logical person will say, here is the book. And then the teacher will dispute this. And then we say, let's go to the server. You see? But what they are now saying, Professor Jonathan, of all people, I'm so disappointed, man. He says, forget the book, which is just 220. So are you saying to me, guys, Chamisa failed to raise 220 election observers?
Yes, he failed.
He failed to do that?
Yes. He said it himself. He doesn't have those numbers.
Guys, and you think this guy can run the country?
Okay, remember the question I'm asking you. You as MDCT, you accept that the server was hacked.
I'm saying to you, the issue doesn't even arise.
Okay.
For me, the issue doesn't even arise.
That is the point that I want us to make, because people want to be clear. You are agreeing with Mnangagwa on a number of issues.
No.
Which Chamisa is disagreeing with him?
Oh, yes, thank you for qualifying that.
Yes.
Let me tell you what we agree with the president on. We agree that the president, his presidency is not in question. That we agree.
So Chamisa and yourself have a big gap, because this is where you are disagreeing. The legitimacy issue.
Yes.
What happened during and after the elections, and what needs to happen going forward.
I'm going to do this. You know, I've been inviting you to request me for our press statement after the elections. I'm going to give you.
Yes.
I'm volunteering now to give you.
Okay.
And I'm quoting verbatim. This election was free as far as violence is concerned, but it was not fair. That's what we said.
Okay.
And Dr. Kupe made an example of her 5 kids going to vote in a certain polling station. And when the results came out, only 2 people had voted for him. Her 5 kids had gone to vote for him.
Yeah.
I have instances where my family had to go and vote in a certain polling station from different places. The numbers I got is less than people who travel to go and vote there.
Do you want me to tell you a secret?
No, wait, before you come with your secret.
Yeah.
And what then happened there is that it's not even ED who benefited, it's the alliance who benefited.
Did you ever consider that?
So that's why we said, that's why we then said to you, we have issues with ZEC. Because a reasonable person will say, if Chamisa claims that this election outcome is not a true reflection of the people, it must follow then, therefore, that then the numbers that Dr. Kupe got are not a true reflection. The numbers that so and so got, it can't be correct that the election is not a true reflection only with regards to him and ED. No, what type of logic is that? It's so flawed.
Okay. You know what, Mr. Phugeni? I wanted to end with this point which I wanted to make. Firstly, the electoral issues. There's many interpretations. There are many things that went wrong. The truth is that right now where we are, both sides need to compromise. Do you think someone is going to compromise between Idi Mnangagwa and Nelson Chamisa?
There is no need. There is no need for a compromise, unless if the compromise which you are referring to is Chamisa coming to his senses.
So Chamisa should compromise.
No, it's not compromise. He just has to come to POLAD because he was a presidential candidate. Because that POLAD he calls upon presidential candidates. So he must come there And by the way, if you look at POLAD, our program, part of our program, there is there's a committee there that will deal with electoral reforms,
Okay.
which speaks to the 2014 Congress resolution of MTCT.
Yeah.
The dialogue was to level the playing field
Okay.
for the coming elections. Now, that's what we're doing. Now, the agenda of Chamisa, I won 2.6 million votes and whatever, it's too juvenile. I've got no time for that. And I don't think His Excellency, I don't advise him, by the way, I don't speak for him. I'm actually even uncomfortable to even say this. But I don't think he should give it even a day, even 2 minutes entertainment. There's nothing between him and Chamisa to really speak about. Chamisa just has to come to POLAD. There's a platform where we can work on leveling the playing field, basically. But to say that there's a discussion between His Excellency and Chamisa, it's a waste of time.
Right, so he should just come to POLAD with no conditions. He
Really,
mustn't make any conditions.
Really, I mean, what gives him the right to make those conditions?
He's got okay, the counted votes of Chamisa are over 2 million.
So?
Idi Mnangagwa's vote. Between Chamisa and Idi Mnangagwa, there's less than 50,000 votes.
So?
He is a very significant player.
No, I'm asking you so. Because I want to tell you something,
Yeah.
Which you people do not know. The late president, Dr. Tsvangirai, he got more votes than President Mugabe. You remember?
Correct.
President Mugabe ended up being president after there was a deal. Do you know who brokered that deal?
I would suggest it was Thabo Mbeki.
No, it was not Thabo Mbeki.
Okay, who was it?
After the 2008 elections, there was that violent runoff.
Okay.
And Dr. Tsvangirai ran for his life to Botswana.
Yeah.
Ran for his life, eh?
Correct.
The whole male leadership of MTCT ran,
Okay.
including this child, by the way. He also ran. He would meet Dr. Kupe in secret places. Mama, hiding his face and everything.
Okay.
Of course, I mean, a child hiding, from, the mother helping and whatsoever. So there's nothing. But basically, I'm simply saying to you, the only person who remained is Dr. Kupe.
Okay.
If Chamisa is an honest person, he will tell you what he said in the standing committee, the first standing committee they did in South Africa. When the meeting started, he challenged the then president to thank Dr. Kupe for the work she was doing. Part of that work was she went to Egypt, an AU summit, Sharm el-Sheikh, to Egypt, and presented the MTCT's case to Egypt. It is that AU summit that resolved that there must be a GNU in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
It's Dr. Kupe who presented our case. Dr. Kupe.
Right. So I want to leave it at this point. I think you've made a very important point about her role in the MDC in the past and in the present.
Thank you.
I think what we need to do is looking forward.
Yeah.
We have a serious challenge where things are not moving in Zimbabwe.
I want you to do this. I want you to go and listen to a Christmas message dispassionately. Forget her. If you can help yourself, just do the audio. Don't look at the picture. So think it's someone else, not her. Try and listen to that message. Dispassionate. Really try. Take away any feelings you have about it. Try and listen to that message.
Okay.
Dispassionately.
Right. I think we've covered a lot of issues. Is there anything that you want to say that we haven't covered now?
No, I really want to thank you.
Yes.
I cannot thank you enough. Your platform, because I get feedback from people.
Yes.
Your platform has given an alternative voice, and a lot of people, a lot, by the way, they are clear. And you say to me when you speak about this, you said people don't know about you guys, they've not heard your side. Please say it out.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they've actually said Dr. Kupe was cheated. Come 2023, we're voting him. So thank you so much. This platform is doing wonders. I also want to thank those Zimbabweans who have refused to be abused any longer, who have given themselves a chance to say, let's listen.
Okay.
Let's see what we can get. And we are not going to build a country on quicksands of propaganda and hate and bigot and division. We're not going to build a country on that. So I really want to thank Zimbabweans who have given themselves a chance to say, let's listen. Let's act out of information, you know. And this is my parting words to Zimbabweans, by the way. Any government, the president is not there because Dr. Kupe is supporting him. I'm talking His Excellency. She's not there because Dr. Kupe is supporting him. Chamisa is not there because Dr. Kupe is not supporting him. No. Any government of the day, or let me put it to you this way, how a country is governed is a competency of the electorate. So ZANU is ruling today not because we sat in some corner or POLAD sat in whatever. ZANU is ruling today because of the outcome of the election.
Okay.
So until Zimbabweans decide that a certain person or a certain party has to rule, nothing is going to change. So there are those who don't vote. Unfortunately, once you don't vote, you lose your voice or you lose your right to complain. There are those who claim that a woman cannot lead us. Unfortunately, they can't come back and blame Dr. Kupe because so much evidence is before us what she has done and what she can do. So the whole nonsense that a woman cannot lead us is nonsense. The whole nonsense that says because you are from the minorities, you can't rule the country is also nonsense. Because tribe or ethnicity does not infer competence and does not take away competence. So I'm very happy with the Zimbabweans, especially the ones from majority. You know, I think I sent you a chat where somebody, the one who said Dr. Kupe was cheated, you know, you could see from his name and surname that he's from the majority and is male. So you can see that the mindset is changing. And we really want to appreciate 2020. Siyabangena. Thank you, Zimbabweans.
Mr. Khaliphani Phugeni, very interesting long discussion.
Yes.
And I think what we should do is we should not skip for so long.
Okay.
The holiday affected us. We're all over the place.
Yeah.
And we'll be back very, very soon.
Yeah.
I'll make plans that every week we manage to talk to each other. There are so many issues to deal with.
Yeah, look, I'll do a lot of traveling coming here to do interviews and going back home and all those things. But yeah, thank you so much. We wish you well. We saw all the troubles you had with people abusing processes to try and block your media house. We pray that God may intervene and really, really help you. To the extent that Zimbabweans that are able, and even international players that are able to help this platform, because a free press really is one of the bedrocks of democracy. They can, I think you must open up an account or whatever, fund me or whatever you do, so people can really fund this channel. It's an open voice. I'm glad that I could come here, discuss with someone who's got biases for the alliance, but have a proper discussion. And so we need such media. I don't mind people like Bo Hopwell and all the other private media players that they support the alliance, but be fair, you know, just like what you're trying to do. Really be fair. Give everyone else a fair voice, not to really pander to the selfish whims of one person to the extent of chanting violent and malicious propaganda against other political players. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Khaliphani Phugeni. I really enjoyed talking to you. If you are receiving this on our WhatsApp channel, please forward it to as many people as possible. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Bye.